Man, Monday night was a roller coaster ride that I didn't think we were going to go on.
Right?
And mainly that had to do with the play of our one and only starting quarterback, Brock frickin' Purdy. Needless to say, um, the alarm bells went off pretty loudly on Monday. A lot of conversation about a litany of things that have to do with Brock and should he start? Is he hurt? Um, did the Niners make a mistake paying him all this money? You know, there's certain people that talk about him all the time. We know who they are. They've been negative about him for ages. And now it's like, oh, it's actually lining up with what everybody's been saying. So of course they were right,
Well,
right? So
yeah. I mean, I thought it was very concerning the way Brock looked on Monday night. Having gotten extra rest. And I get it. He's going to be rusty. He hasn't played in a number of weeks. I mean, obviously he played the week before, and I thought he looked pretty good against the Cardinals. But then again, he was going against like third and fourth stringers against the Cardinals because they were decimated with injuries, right? So, look, he was 23-32 for 193 yards, one touchdown, three interceptions. One of which I will say, not really in his defense, but I thought the defender, J.C. Horn, made a really good play on the ball when he came all the way across the field and picked him off. That was a good read on his behalf. The other two interceptions, the first two, those were concerning because look, Brock moved up in the pocket like he was supposed to, but he's got to make a choice. He's either got to run or he's got to plant himself and throw the ball. And so instead, he did kind of both, and he threw that pass to Ricky Pearsall like Colin Kaepernick would, just throw it on the run, and it was inaccurate. It was short, and he got picked off. And really, it's like he could have ran for a first down, or he could have thrown it to George Kittle, who was really close to him, for like a quick short pass that would have yielded a huge gain because he had a step on his defender. So again, I think that when you look at the film, he had Pearsall open deep. The problem is that he didn't commit to throwing. He committed to running and then throwing as he was running. And I'm sorry, Brock is not that kind of quarterback where he can pull that off. That's like a Lamar Jackson type throw where he's just going to run, and as he's running, he's going to throw a bomb accurately. It just, that's just not Brock's game. Brock needed to stop, plant himself, and throw it early on, and know that was going to be where it was supposed to go. I didn't like what he did there. I thought it was really bad. And then the first interception, now I'm going backwards with his interceptions, but the first interception in which he threw it to, he was trying to get it to Juwan Jennings. It was late. It was behind him. It was not a good pass. He needed to lead Juwan Jennings with that throw. Instead, he threw it almost behind him, which was an easy interception for J.C. Horn. Two bad throws by Brock Purdy. Both receivers had an opportunity to catch that ball if it was thrown on time. And this is something I talked about on X. I was having a debate with my buddy Tyler LaRocca. Brock is the kind of quarterback that when he's on time and he's accurate, then he's extremely effective, right? When he's not on time, and right now because of his injury he's recovering from, I think his accuracy is not as sharp as as it can be. So I think that his timing, with the timing being off and his accuracy not being there, he's not as effective of a quarterback as he should be for the 49ers. And look, he looked really good against Arizona. He threw for 3 touchdowns, but Arizona sucks. They're a crappy defense, and Brock has to play better. Look, he's going against, fucking the slapdick Panthers, a shitty Cardinals team. He's going against the Browns that have a horrible offense. And after the bye week, he's going to be going up against the horrible slapdick Titans, which these next 2 games are so winnable games before we go against the Bears, the Colts, and the Seahawks. So he's got to right the ship. He's our quarterback. He has to figure this out and stop making those kind of mistakes, which he's been making since last season.
Larry Krueger seems to think that he's hurt. He's still not healthy. And I said this after the game. I said this during the game. I said this on the stream on Tuesday with Mike. Shout out to Mike. Had him on last week. Awesome.
Mike.
Mike. I said to Mike, I said, if you're on the field, you're expected to play. If you're not healthy, don't play, because if you're on the field, the expectation is if you're on the field, we expect you to be like you've always been. Did he look late on a bunch of throws? Yes. To me, he was hitching instead of just, the controversy with Mac Jones is Mac is extremely immobile, but he is 100% pocket passer. The ball comes out quick with Mac Jones. That's something that I think 49er fans, we started getting kind of accustomed to when Mac was playing, and Brock is just different in the way he approaches things. I just think like he's reading the field slowly. He doesn't look like he's processing information very quickly. He doesn't look like he's putting a whole hell of a lot on his throws. It's concerning because like if you ask Brock, and they talked about it after the game, he didn't want to use his foot as an excuse. I just hate it to be one of those things, Dre, where we hit the off season and then somebody interviews him and he says, yeah, the foot was a problem, blah, blah, blah. It happens all the time. And that's the one thing I can't stand.
He might, you never know, but I mean, I still think that his foot is bothering him, his turf toe.
Oh, 100%.
It's limiting some of the things that he does. Yeah, he ran for a first down in that game, but then later in the game, when he had a chance to run for another one, he tried to throw the ball on the run. And right now, Brock Purdy has nothing on the ball. I mean, yes, we've already known that Brock Purdy doesn't have the strongest arm out there, but his throws lately have just been like Ken Dorsey, like where it's just change ups. Yes. You know what I mean? Where you're just like, oh boy, come on.
I was thinking of Chad Pennington,
Pennington.
I used to call him Paper Airplane Chad when he played for the Dolphins.
But at least with Chad Pennington, especially with the Jets, he still found a way to win. You know what I mean? But but that's what Brock has to do. Brock has to become. I want to say it was last year that he became this quarterback where it's like, I'm going to throw the ball downfield. I'm going to stretch the field. I'm going to go for the bigger shots down the field. When he was successful in 2023, he would do that only when it was the right time to do it. And now he's trying to throw the ball deep or at least big chunks all the time. Yeah. And to me, he's got to go back to what was working for Mac Jones in a sense where if Christian McCaffrey's open in the flat, give him the ball. If George Kittle's open for a short gain, give him the ball.
And the one that he forced into the end zone against with Ricky Parasol, two guys flashed in front of him. I think one was Jawan Jennings from right to left. I think, I'm not positive. Don't quote me on it. And the other one was Kittle. It was like a wheel route, or not even a wheel route. It's more of like the old 20 halfback curl X up, the route that
Craig ran. To you.
That was, well, I remember it from the videos. It was the route that Craig ran on the touchdown to Taylor,
right?
Where he ran like a halfback.
Okay, yeah, that one.
Yeah, the Texas route where the running back appears in front of the quarterback kind of directly. But like,
sure,
the throws were there. Why are we forcing it? I said this Monday or Tuesday. I said the comparison is always like, oh, he's a gunslinger. He plays like Favre.
Gunslinger.
Without the requisite arm strength, though. He doesn't have the tools to be a gunslinger. And I felt like in 2023, and I know a lot of 49er fans are getting really sick of hearing that talk. Like, I'm sick of it. That's the last time he played good. He used to take what was there. He didn't really go too crazy with a lot of deep throws. A lot of it was like scrambling and finding the open man. Now it's like pushing the ball downfield for pushing the ball downfield's sake. I don't understand it. We watched the game, me and you, and we could see a halfback or somebody flash in front of him, and yet he's going completely into coverage. I don't understand the mindset of Brock.
Yeah.
Do you think he's feeling the pressure of having a backup?
I think he is. I think he's feeling the pressure of having Mac Jones as his backup, knowing that he played. I don't want to say Mac Jones tore it up, but Mac Jones played pretty damn good. Damn good enough to where you could have gone with Mac Jones the rest of the year if Brock could not come back. And you would, like, if Brock was injured, you would not think twice about it. You'd be like, yeah, let's just go with Mac. But here's the thing. I feel like the fact that, he's eager, He's very competitive, but he's eager to prove that he is the quarterback, that they made the right decision in giving him that contract. And I think that is what's affecting his judgment. That pass to Ricky Pearsall, it was unnecessary.
It was totally unnecessary.
Because you had George Kittle open right next to you, or you could have ran for it and he would have blocked for you. So you got to take what the defense gives you. There was a window where you could have got it to Ricky Pearsall, but that window closed quickly because you were moving up in the pocket and you decided to run. And then you changed your mind and tried to throw it to him, but by then it was already too late. And so he cannot be pressing to try and make things happen. Mac Jones, if there's one thing that I'll say about Mac Jones is that you never saw Mac Jones pressing. You never saw Mac Jones trying to force the ball or make a throw that maybe that's not really his kind of game. Brock has been doing that. And even in the game against Arizona where he threw for 3 touchdowns, he threw 2 passes that should have been interceptions. And they were both dropped in the defender's hands, dropped by the secondary. So that would have given him 2 more interceptions on the year if they would have hung on to those passes. So what I want to see from Brock is this. I want to see Brock Purdy be better at taking care of the ball, be smart about where he's going, use his checkdowns, use shorter passes if he has to keep the ball moving. You know, you're not Peyton Manning, you're not Joe Burrow, you're not the guy who's going to, just gouge you in the air. That's not really his game. And I feel like that's what he wants to be. He wants to be a gunslinger, a guy who forces the ball downfield and gets that big chunk yardage. And to me, that's not his game. I think he can make those throws, but it has to be selective. It has to be, within the rhythm of the offense, not just like, okay, I see McCaffrey's wide open, I'm going downfield. It's like, no, that's not who you are. We got to remember, this is Mr. Irrelevant. He was the last pick in the draft for a reason. Yeah. Now, and those reasons were all based, not all, but mostly based on his physical talents. He was a smaller guy, not as, doesn't have this, the cannon arm. But what did he have that most scouts couldn't decipher? Is that he can process defenses. He's smart with the ball, makes the right decisions. Doesn't turn the ball over. That's what made him successful in 2022 and 2023. Last year, he pressed. Because why? He had guys that were out. He knew he wanted to get that contract the next offseason. So you saw him trying to do more. And Cam's dad, he may have been a gunslinger his whole life, maybe in Iowa, but when you go to the professional level, it's a little different.
He did throw a lot of interceptions in Iowa, too. That was one of the knocks on his game, as he was a little bit of an interception machine at Iowa. So it's not like he's playing differently than he ever has. It's just, I feel like now, I don't know if it's just luck. I don't know if it's just how the dice roll sometimes. Like, in a lot of this stuff in the past, especially 2023, maybe he not necessarily got away with things, but like things didn't come back to bite us in the ass.
Well, there was a lot of plays that a lot of throws that Brock made that were just throws that you were like, oof, that was almost an interception, but it didn't. The dice kind of rolled in his favor, right? And we overlooked it because we're like, hey, that's great. But now a lot of defenses have adjusted to the way Brock Purdy plays.
Yep.
And so now he has to adjust back. And it's a matter of, can he make those adjustments and keep the offense moving? And I think he can, because he's a smart quarterback. But by not having his full range of motion in terms of his mobility, that is really kind of making him more of a pocket passer. And, watching, like, was it yesterday? I was watching the Packers game. I saw Jordan Love, not that I think Jordan Love's, a phenomenal quarterback, but I saw Jordan Love a number of times throw the ball away. Couldn't find anybody, throw it away. You know what I mean? Like, Brock Purdy lately seems like, he drops back, can't find anybody. I'm going to throw it there. And then it's like intercepted, or it gets tipped and almost intercepted, when it's like, dude, either throw it away, live was it live to play another down.
Yep.
And so I think
And you don't go broke taking a profit, which means if the open underneath thing is there, throw it. Throw it.
yeah.
Stop with the gunslinger. You can't have a pea shooter and want to be a gunslinger at the same time. The
Like
two things don't
the
fit
throw
together.
that throw to Pearsall, if that's Joe Burrow, if that's Matthew Stafford, that's touchdown.
Josh Allen, yeah.
Yeah, that's touchdown. And I think sometimes Brock plays with the mentality that he's like those guys. And I'm not saying Brock is a bad quarterback. That's not what I'm out here trying to say.
No, I totally understand what you're saying.
It's like when you got a Chihuahua who's trying to bark at like a Rottweiler, because it's kind of like, hey, I get it. You're fierce, you're tough, but that's a little out of your league. Now, can he make those throws? I think if he plants his feet and throws the ball, I think he might has a better throw, and the timing has to be better, but he can't just throw it on the run and expect to nail that throw.
One of the things that is talked about with Brock Purdy when he struggles is the weather. And I want to bring this up because if you think things got bad this week, could get worse. Let's talk about the weather forecast for the game is expected with, I saw it said rain expected to turn to snow, 25 to 35 mile per hour winds. Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski says to expect all of it. And he says that Jim Schwartz gets even more aggressive in bad weather games, adjusts his calls and scheme, and leans into the chaos. So if there's ever a game where you got to play it safe and let your playmakers kind of do their job, be a facilitator, be a point guard, it's a game like this. He's struggled in weather games. It is a proven fact. He's not going to wear a glove. That was in the press conference, I think, on Wednesday. And he doesn't seem to think that there's an issue or this narrative that there's weather affects him. But he also says he's aware of the weather and, you got to make certain choices and taking care of the ball and all that stuff. But what do you think, man? Like, how much more nervous are you now knowing that it's going to be? I mean, I live in the Northeast, so this weather to me is like a Tuesday. But for a West Coast team, you being a West Coaster yourself, Dre, like this is like, for me, this is nothing. For a West Coast team and West Coast football team or West Coast people who are not used to this, this is tough.
This is tough. This is gonna be really tough. I just pulled something on the screen. You mind pulling that up?
Yeah, go right ahead. Oh, hold on. Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Who is that?
I don't remember his name, but it's from
Gizmo.
the movie Gremlins. Gizmo, okay.
That's Gizmo, okay. Gizmo has rules. He's cute. Everyone loves him. Great personality. He's kind. He's great. But you can't get him wet. You can't feed him after midnight. And so Brock Purdy's kind of like that. He's kind of like Gizmo, where it's like, hey, Brock is great. Oh, but you can't get him wet because he can't play in the rain. Can't play in the snow. He turns the ball over. He has these limitations. He has these things where you're like, oh, don't feed him after midnight because he'll turn into a bad quarterback. Whenever he plays Monday night, he plays horrible. The game against the Ravens, I think, was Monday night last year, and they got, or in 2023, and they got crushed. So, and I say that because, look, everybody loves Gizmo. But I'm telling you, you get him wet, the gremlins come out. And so when it comes to Brock Purdy, if he plays in the rain, he plays in the snow, the gremlins come out, man. All of a sudden, he starts making mistakes. He's not accurate. He loses the ball. Brock Purdy has yet to show the Niners that he can play in bad weather.
Yeah.
I mean, the Buffalo
game was another bad game last year.
Another bad game. Now, he kind of did it in the playoffs against the Packers. I mean, he won that game, but he played 3 bad quarters of football.
Yeah.
In the fourth quarter, he started playing better, and then they won the game. So Brock has to show, not only that, he has to prove himself that he can play in bad weather. And so far, he's been extremely ineffective in bad weather environments. And that's what worries me about Brock Purdy going into this next game on Sunday.
Here's another thing, too. I'll bring this up, and it has to do with hand size. Hand size to me it's kind of a weird thing because I remember growing up, Troy Aikman has humongous hands, but he had an issue gripping a wet ball. So if you look at this, Jalen Hurts, 9 and 3/4 inch hands, Lamar 9.5, Brady 9 and 3/8, Brock Purdy 9 1/4. Mahomes and Baker Mayfield are the same sizes, and Joe Burrow is smaller. So like I don't get it. Most of those guys, I can't say prosper in bad weather, but this thing with the hand, I don't know if it's the grip, how he grips it. Does he have to adjust his grip? Does he have to wear a glove? He says he's not going to wear
He's
gloves.
not going to wear a glove.
I'm thinking like, why? Or at least put one on your other hand.
Yeah, I'd put one on the other hand. I mean,
yeah. So
I'm not a quarterback. I don't know.
What do you think about the hand size thing? I mean, they talk about it for other things too, but we won't go there.
They talk about it for they talk about it for a lot of things, but I mean, even Jared Goff has small hands, and that was a big thing with Jared Goff.
Kenny Pickett's got the cheese, the Burger King hands. You know, for the
he's got the fat fingers. But no, I mean, look, hand size is hand size. I don't know. I don't know how much. You know, the scouts will probably tell you how much that comes into play. I don't know. I'm not a scout. I don't give a shit. But look, he's got the same hand size as Joe Burrow, so there's something you can hang your hat on. Like, hey, got the same hand size as Joe Burrow. Hey, Patrick Mahomes. Exactly. The problem is that he doesn't have a strong arm like Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow, or as strong of an arm. I should say that. And so his downfield accuracy is not as great as those two because they have a stronger arm. They can, they can put that ball right where it needs to be at with a lot of force. Brock is one of those guys where he doesn't throw very hard. He throws with accuracy. He throws with timing. And so Kurt Warner kind of brought this up earlier in the week saying, it's really easy for receivers to catch his balls because he plays with accuracy and timing. But it also makes it very easy for defenders to intercept his balls when he's not playing on time and his accuracy is suffering. And Tyler was arguing me saying, well, if every quarterback played with good timing and accuracy, every quarterback would be really good. Right. But Brock Purdy has shown that he can consistently play on time with really good accuracy.
Right.
But I would say last season he waned a little bit. This season he's not been as accurate. He played really good week 1, still threw 2 interceptions, threw multiple interceptions against the Jaguars, and he threw 3 interceptions last night or this past week against the Panthers Monday night. And against Arizona, he almost threw 2 more. So at what point are we going to say, hey, Brock, I get it. You want to get the ball downfield. You want to be a gunslinger. You want to, you want to go for the big play.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, you have to say, look, you have to go with what's open. You have to take what the defense gives you. And if Christian McCaffrey or a shorter pass is there, you need to execute that pass and keep the offense moving because that's what is most important.
The thing is, he's done it before. He's capable of playing well.
Absolutely.
That's what I don't understand. It's proven. You brought us back against the Lions. He was one of the biggest reasons why we made it to the Super Bowl in that NFC Championship game. It was the play of Brock Purdy. Good throws, running around, making plays. Like, I don't get it. It's like, I don't know if he's like mentally something is off with him. He is capable of playing well. I will say this, and I'm going to ask you this question because I saw you tweet pretty much the same thing I did, but during the game last week, at any point, were you like, we got to bring in Mac in? Like, we got to bring Mac in. I got to that point. I'm like, it might be time for Mac Jones. Not because I think there's a quarterback controversy and all that stupid silliness, or that, Mac Jones is a better quarterback and he should be the starter forever. I don't believe any of that. But based on the fact that we're in the playoff hunt and it's a winnable game against a bad team. That's the thing. They're so bad, the Panthers. And like the fact that we only won 20-9 was super concerning. That game should have been over at halftime.
We won with 3 turnovers, almost 4 with McCaffrey fumble. Luckily, McKivitz landed on that.
Yeah, what did you? I mean, like, were you of the mindset of like, hey, I love Brock, but maybe tonight's just not his night?
Um, yeah, I was more on the lines of Brock is not having a good night. You can tell by the by the third interception, he was rocked. Mentally, I think he was a little fucked up by the time he threw the third interception, because then the third interception was the defender J.C. Horn making a phenomenal play on the ball. And so at that point, you're like, dude, what is going on right now? And so I think it got a little bit in his head. Second half, he did play a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
He hit some big passes to George Kittle. And to me, he played in the second half the way he should have been playing the entire time. When you look at the game, when you look at the first drive, nothing flashy. Short passes, giving the ball to McCaffrey, keeping the offense moving.
Yep.
And to me, if you continue to play that way, you'll find big chunk yardage down the field as that offense keeps going. But I feel like, he was trying to force things. Now, look, we won the game. I'm happy about that. I'm stoked. And there was never really a point in the game where I felt like we got to get Mac Jones in the game because we might lose. No, the entire time I was like, I don't see how in the world we're going to lose this game. So Brock's got to figure it out.
That was some bad quarterback play in general in that game, because
both of them look horrible.
He's not good either, their quarterback.
No, Bryce Young sucks.
Yeah, he's pretty bad. Cam's dad, we won, but I'm the type of person, Cam's dad, I project. When I watch games, I project, like, how would we do against said team with this kind of performance? I said to myself, if we were playing the Rams and this was happening, the game would have been over in the first quarter. We would have done. We would have been finished. It would have been 28-0. I'm sorry that's how I think. Go ahead.
Yeah. The comment here, any news about CMC? Heard that he didn't practice. It was a vet day. That's according to Kyle Shanahan. So he just got the day off.
Yeah. For the amount that they use him. Did you happen to catch, speaking of Chris McCaffrey, his interaction with Roger Craig and how emotional Roger Craig got? I was like, that moved me. Yeah. I was like, aw, poor Roger.
Well, I mean, Christian McCaffrey is a generational talent, and I think he understands that.
They're very similar in how they played. They could run and catch. He was the first guy to really get 1,000. I think he was the first ever to be 1,000 receiving and 1,000 running the ball in the same season.
He may have been that. I don't know. But what I do know is that Christian McCaffrey had 7 catches for 53 yards in the game against the Carolina Panthers. I mean, when you see 7 catches, 53 yards, do you think that's a receiver? And it's not.
Right.
I was just about to check that too. The Eagles, something is wrong with the Eagles offense. It's really bad.
It's so really weird. Bad. The Super Bowl they put, it's like, can't they should be able to play like that every single time.
I mean, Rams officially have,
no one's beating the Rams this year. It's not going to happen.
I don't know. If the Eagles can figure out their offensive issues, they could beat the Rams because the Eagles have an outstanding defense. Don't give Jim Everett the Great any kind of compliment. Come on, man. This guy's a diehard Rams fan. He's one of the worst. What's up, man? But
I think the Rams, dude, let's be honest here. I want to be an honest fan. The Rams look great.
They do.
Their defense is really good. The only way I could see them losing is if they could face a team that can get pressure with their front four. Because no matter who you are as a quarterback, if you can play everybody in coverage and only get 4 people rushing the passer, even the great Matt Stafford, because he is pretty damn good, is affected. They haven't faced one team this year really who's been able to harass him. He's just sitting back there and just throwing lasers every single game with any type of resistance whatsoever.
But like when you look at the Niners, they have a similar philosophy. I'm sorry. When you look at the Eagles, they have a similar philosophy as the Niners in the sense that they're the kind of team that they want to score early and then have their defense suffocate you.
Yes.
And when they don't score early and they fall behind, then all of a sudden their offense can't do shit. And right now they're down 17-9 in the fourth quarter. They're probably going to lose this game. I picked the Philadelphia Eagles to win too. That was my mistake.
Of course.
So I'm going to lose that game. Thanks a lot.